Subject concrete structures, chapter pre-stressed concrete, topic types of pre-stressing as per codes. So now students, we have already discussed about the introduction of pre-stressed concrete. What is pre-stressing? Why is it even required, right? So we have discussed all these things. Now the thing is that the next topic I'll be telling you about the types of pre-stressing as per the codes. Okay, the code which is used I have already told you, right? So classification, the classification can be done, you can say, on the basis of a few things, right? So first thing is on the basis of source. Source means that how you are stretching the tendon. So what is the source of stretching the tendon, right? First, it can be hydraulic. So we have hydraulic jams, hydraulic machines are there which stretch the tendon, or we can have mechanical. There can be a pulley system also by which the tendons can be stretched, right? There can be some electrical system also. Now in electrical system, what we do is that through the tendons we pass electric currents. When we pass electric current, what happens is that due to the temperature difference, they get stretched. And in the you can say the loading phase, in the shear phase, what is happening is that in the we switch off the electricity, right? And what will happen? It will again come back to its original position, right? There is another method, chemical also. We use some chemicals for stretching of tendons, right? So chemicals also can also be done. Yeah. Now we also have some external and internal, you can say, classification, right? So what is external is that, for example, if the tendon, it is inside the beam, inside the section, it is internal, and if it is outside the section, it is external. Clear? Now it is post tensioning and pre tensioning. Now what is the difference between post tensioning and pre tensioning? This is important, which I'll be explaining you after this, right? Second one is linear and circular, right? So tendons can be linear also, tendons can be circular also. Linear, in this case we have the linear tendons, and in circular tendons, let us say a structure is there which is a round structure, so tendons has to be placed around it, right? Around the circumference. So it is in that case we have the circular type, right? Then we have full, limited and partial. Type 1, type 2, type 3. So full is a type of type 1, limited is a type of type 2, and partial is a type of type 3, right? So what happens in full is that, let me explain you. So in full, right, no fiber, we do not allow any fiber to be in tension, because I told you that we apply a load such that the stress diagram is like this, compression. So we do not allow any fiber to be in tension. No fiber in tension. No fiber in tension. Clear? Now in case of limited, we allow some fibers to be in tension, right? But we do not allow any cracks. Some tension, but no cracks. And in case of our type 3 or partial, we also apply some tension, sorry, and we also apply some cracks. We also allow some cracks also, right? So this was about the full, which is type 1, limited type 2, and partial type 3. Okay, so now let us discuss in detail the pre-tensioning and the post-tensioning, because this is important, right? So let me rub it and let us discuss the pre-tensioning and post-tensioning. So first of all, let us discuss about pre-tensioning. So it is, as from the name, it is clear that you can say in the transverse phase itself, before casting of the concrete, if you are stretching it, again I am repeating, before casting of the concrete, if you are stretching the tendons, it is pre-tensioning. And if you are stretching the tendons after we have cast concrete or the concrete beam, it is post-tension. Now let me explain you how it is done. Right? So first one is, let us discuss about pre-tensioning. Right? Pre-tensioning type of pre-stressing. Okay? So in pre-tensioning, what is actually happening? Let me write down some steps. So steps would be, let us say step 1. So first of all, we have a tendon. This is a tendon. We stretch the tendon with some mechanism. It can be electrical, it can be, you can say, mechanical or hydraulic, right? we have some platforms here, so we stretch the tendons. Clear? Now we have stretched the tendons. Till now we have not cast concrete, right? We have already stretched the cane. There are big platforms. If you get chance and go to some pre-stressing concrete site, you will come to know there are very big platforms, right? We stretch the tendons either with the help of hydraulic or mechanical or chemical, whatever it can be, right? Electrical also. Now in step two, what we do is that we do casting. We do casting. Now the tendons were already stretched. These were already stretched. Now we do casting. We apply the foam work and we do casting. Now casting is done. Casting is done, right? P. Clear? Now casting is done. Now step 3. Step 3. Now after it gets hardened, after 28 days, now what we do is that we cut the tendons. Cut the tendons after 28 days. So if the tendons have been cut after 28 days, what will happen? Let us say this was a section and these were the tendons. These were the tendons. Now if they are cut, right, they will try to come back to their original position. They will try to come back to their original position because its elasticity is higher as compared to your normal steel, right? It will try to come back to its original position, right? So you know that if it will try to come back to its original position, the tendons, they are in contact with, you can say, concrete. They are in contact with concrete. If they are in contact with concrete, what will happen? The compressing of the beam, or you can say the stressing of the beam, it can be a beam or any section, the stressing of the section will be due to friction between the tendon as well as the concrete. So let me write it here. So in this case, the stressing is due to friction between concrete and tendon, because the tendon is in contact with concrete, obviously. So if it gets, you can say, if it comes back to its original position, so it is in contact with concrete, so it will try to compress concrete also, right? So there will be friction with the help of this friction. Clear? Now let me give an example. Let us say that you can also perform this example. Let us say that you have some stretchable thing, right? So you stretch the thing. You tell someone, your brother or sister or anyone, just stretch this thing, right? He will stretch it and then you hold it, and you tell him to you can say just release it. So when he will release it, whatever the thing you are holding in your hand, so you can feel that inside your hand you can feel some stretching, right? It means that your hands will go like this, the palm will go like this, right? It means that the stretching, or you can say the compressing, is due to the friction between your palm and that particular material. Similar case here also. So I hope that you have understood your pre-tensioning. Clear? Now let us see some advantages and disadvantages of pre-tensioning. Let me rub this. Let us see some advantages and disadvantages of pre-tensioning. Okay, so obviously it has some advantages. So first advantage would be the number one advantage. So the number one advantage would be you can produce bulk. You can produce in bulk. Bulk structures can be produced. Structures can be produced. Bulk means that I told you that there is a mechanism of tensioning of the tendons, right? So we have a very big platform. So one tendon, two tendon, three tendon, we have multiple tendons, right? So at one time we can cast concrete, so it can produce bulk structure. In bulk we can produce the structure, right? Second thing is that in the case of pre-tensioning, no need of anchor is there. No need of anchor. Right? What is an anchor? Anchor is you can say a type of, you can say, a material which actually holds it. Okay, so I will explain you, because anchor is important in post tensioning. It is used in post tensioning. There I will be explaining about what is anchor, right? But for the time being, just remember that, just know that anchor, for example, let's say a ship is there. To stop a ship at harbor, what we do is that we anchor it, right? So anchor, it actually resists the ship from moving here and there. Clear? It stops the ship from moving here and there. Clear? Now, Another advantage could be the bulk production, no need for anchor, more than enough. Now second thing is, if these are the advantages, it will also have some disadvantages also, right? The disadvantage would be, so you can say that for the case of disadvantage, you can say that the working period is 28 days. First of all, the working period is 28 days. It means that it requires a lot of time. You can say it requires a lot of time to get a desired pre-stress structure. Clear? This is the first thing. Second thing is that the pre-stressing bed is required. Pre-stressing bed is required. Pre-stressing bed is required. So obviously, whatever we are doing is that we are stretching our tendons before the casting of concrete. We require certain beds. Without the beds, it cannot be done. Clear? So these are some disadvantages of pre-tensioning. Now let us come to the post-tensioning part. Right? I hope you have understood this. Now let us come to the post-tensioning part. Post-tensioning. Post-tensioning. As from the name, it is clear that it is tension after the concrete beam or after the structure has been cast. Clear? Now the question is, how is it possible? Because in case of our pre-tensioning, what we were doing is that we were stretching the tendon before the beam was cast. After the beam is cast, after 20 days, we used to cut the tendons and then used to come back to the original position, and hence stretching and hence compressing the concrete, right? But how is it possible? It is possible, dear students. So what it is done is that step 1. So step 1, we cast concrete. We cast concrete with a duct. With a duct. Let us say this is a beam, or for the timing, let us say it's a beam. Okay. Now we cast beam. Okay, whatever shape and size we want, we cast a beam, but we leave a duct here. We leave a duct here. There will be a duct. There will be some empty spaces. So we leave a duct here. Let us say it is like this. So we leave a duct here. Simple. Clear? We will leave a duct here. Now step number 2. Step number 2. After 28 days, we place tendons inside the duct. We place tendons inside the duct. So obviously the diameter of the duct should be higher as compared to the diameter of the tendons. Now what we have done is that this was your beam and these are the ducts. Now what we do is that we place tendons here. Tendons, right? So this is the tendon which has been placed here. This is the tendon which has been placed here, right? So this is the tendon. Let me do it like this so that you understand it much, right? We place tendons like this. Clear? Now we have placed tendons inside the duct. Now the diameter of the tendon is smaller than the diameter of the duct. Simple. Otherwise we cannot place tendon inside the duct. The diameter should be higher, right? So now what will happen is that now we will stretch it. Step 3. Stretch it. Stretch the tendon. Now the tendons are stretched with a force P. Now question is, in step 3, stretch the tendon and release. Now the question is, sir, if you stretch the tendon and we will release it, so what is the fun? Because it is not in contact with this, how the concrete beam will get compressed? The question is very good. So for what we do, what we do is that when we stretch it, after stretching, we apply some anchors here. So some anchors are also provided here. Anchors are provided here. Anchor, it is a type of anchor cap. For example, let us say that this is my concrete and this was a duct inside the concrete. Now this is the reinforcement which I have placed inside the concrete, right? Okay. Now what is that? If I stretch it and if I release it, it will try to come back to its original position. But if I apply some anchor here, this anchor will not allow the tendon to go inside the beam. Clear? So what it will do is that it will have some stresses here. The tendon will, you can say, that compress the concrete. So from here also it will compress the concrete. So that is how the use of anchors is done. So here the, you can see the stress, the compressing of the concrete is due to anchors. So anchors plays a very important role in case of your post tension. I hope you have understood this, right? Now let us come to the advantages and disadvantages of post tension. Okay? Now let us see the advantages and disadvantages of post tension. First of all, let us see the advantage. Okay? So the advantage is that we can cast heavy structure. Heavy casting can be done. Heavy casting can be done. Let us see the second advantage. The second advantage is less time. Less time is required. It is quick. Let us see some disadvantages. So the disadvantages is that you require, you can say it is more expensive. It is more expensive as compared to your the pre-tensioning, right? So more equipments are required. More equipments are required. The second thing is that it also requires grouting. Now what is this grouting? I told you that this was your beam and this was the duct. This was the duct. Let me use another marker. So this was a duct, okay? And inside the duct, what you have? You have tendons. There is a tendon which was stretched with the load and then released, It will try to come back to the original position. Now due to this anchor mechanism, it will not come inside the, you can say, inside the beam. Okay, so now we have some gap between the tendon and the duct. We have some gap. Why? Because the diameter of tendon is smaller than diameter of the duct. Obviously, there will be some gap. How much the gap would be? 5d minus 5d. This will be the gap. So this gap has to be filled. So what we do is that we do some grouting here. Grouting means we apply some cement concrete paste, some cement paste inside the duct, right, to fill this gap. Okay? So grouting is required. This is one more disadvantage. And grouting, if you go to the site, it is a very difficult process, the grouting process. Okay? So I hope that you have understood the different types of pre-stressing as per the course. The most important were post-tensioning and pre-tensioning. These were the most important. Clear? So some theoretical questions can also be there. Grouting is applied in which, right? Anchors are applied in which, required in which, right? Pre-tensioning, post. Some theoretical questions can be from this topic. Now let's move to the next topic and understand about the losses in pre-stressing. I told you that from the transverse stage, if you are going to our shear stage, what is happening is that there are some losses, right? So what are the losses? And this topic is very, very, very important. This topic is very important. So lossing due to pre-stressing. Okay. So let's move to the next topic. Thank you.